There's this scene in Breaking Bad where Jesse is in group therapy. He's talking about killing an innocent dog. And one of the women in therapy judges him and ridicules him for killing an innocent animal. And the lead therapist tells her,
"We're not here to sit in judgment."
and Jesse actually agrees with the therapist. He specifically says,
Why not? Maybe she's right. Or maybe I should have done something different. The thing is, if you just do stuff and nothing happens, what's it all mean?
and then the therapist responds,
Kicking the hell out of yourself doesn't give meaning to anything.
and finally Jesse responds.
So no matter what I do, hooray for me because I'm a great guy. It's all good. No matter how many dogs I kill, I just do an inventory and accept.
And recently, I've been feeling a lot like Jesse. Now, I didn't kill any dogs, but I've been pondering karmic justice. So deep, I know. I think it's very safe to say that every single one of us has something we regret, something we look back on and we wish we could redo or do differently, or just that something could have changed what actually could not have been changed. And this is usually, for me at least, an emotional pain of hurting someone else. On dark, lonely nights, I'll feel this pain resurface. But it's not only on dark, lonely nights that I feel this pain. It's actually often, more often than not, when things are good, when the projects I'm passionate about are doing good, when I have momentum. That's when I feel this regret. This regret causes me to believe, like you may believe, that we are undeserving of good things because we have hurt people in the past. How can I have a good life or a good love life if I've personally hurt people that I care about unintentionally? How can I have a good love life if I have broken someone's heart in the past? Isn't it also kind of true that when we get hurt by someone else, there is this part of us, unless you're like super spiritually mature, that wishes a little bit of bad on them? You know, I can stand here and say that I love everyone and I would never want to hurt people, but when I've been hurt by people, I can easily say, I wish a little bit of pain on them to make them feel the same pain that I felt, that they caused me, intentionally or unintentionally. Now, if this is the case, and karma is a real thing, so doesn't this mean that the people I've hurt are waiting for me to get hurt too? Is my karma or justice coming that they wish is coming to me? Is the pain that they want me to feel because I made them feel pain coming to get me soon? These are the thoughts that go on in my brain, and I wish I could jump into your brain and hear me talk so I could see how this sounds from another person's point of view. And the conclusion I've come to, which you might see coming, is that we need to apologize. And I find it hardest to apologize because the people that I have hurt, it hasn't been out of intention. I didn't try to hurt them. So it becomes a thing of dropping my pride and being the bad guy by apologizing and admitting I was wrong. That's why apologizing is so hard in general, because you have to let go of your ego a little bit and admit that you were wrong. You gotta do it. And one of the only ways I've been able to shake this feeling that I'm not deserving of good things and that I'm a bad person is by dropping it and apologizing. Now, there's resistance to apologizing, and the way I've gotten around it is by realizing that I needed to take a step back, realize that our days are limited, and the person we've hurt, their days are limited too, and none of us know when the last day is or if we'll ever see this person again. The pain of not apologizing to someone is going to outweigh the pain that you caused them. And that pain will grow the longer you don't apologize for what you've done. And it'll be worse if you never got to say you're sorry. Also, remember that you can apologize in any way you want. You can formulate your apology in any way you want. You can leave in or leave out whatever you want. But because you're doing it because you genuinely want to make amends and forgive yourself, whatever you say will be genuine. You shouldn't have any, I thought this. No, it should all be pure 100%. Apology. That's how you let go of this. Imagine the difference between a half-assed apology where you're only doing it to say that you're sorry versus when you really need to apologize. The difference is night and day. And I want to speak to you personally and say that what you did does not make you undeserving of good things. I guess this would depend on what crime you've committed. If you're a murderer or something, I can't say that you are deserving of good things, to be honest. But if we're talking about emotional pain, where we've hurt someone's feelings, that is definitely not a reason to be undeserving of good things. Again, there's layers to this, but If you've caused emotional pain to someone, and I'm sure you have, I think you need to cut yourself some slack. You can beat yourself up for weeks, months, even years. There's people that I've hurt 5 years ago when I was 14 that I still sometimes regret. I got a comment on my most recent video about rejection. It talks about how we can become afraid to open ourselves up because we've been hurt out of the blue by someone we care about. And I told them that that is fair. But how long can you afford to live closing yourself off to love? And it's fair to be disappointed in yourself for things you've done in the past. It's actually a good thing. It shows that you have empathy, that you care about the feelings of others. But like that therapist says, how long can you afford to keep kicking the hell out of yourself? When does your punishment end? And I think you'll know, actually, when your punishment ends, when you can kind of look back and realize, I was 14. I didn't know what I was doing. None of us know what we're doing when we're hurting other people. We can look back, and that's when we know we need to apologize, and it's time to stop beating ourselves up. But also, you have to remember that the people you're hurting aren't perfect. But your actions also aren't done in a vacuum. I'm not saying you're balancing the karmic debt of people by hurting them, but if you could see the way they've also hurt other people unintentionally, maybe you wouldn't feel so bad about you hurting them unintentionally. Now, what happens when the right person walks into your life and you sabotage it because you feel like you're undeserving of these things because of baggage that you carry? I actually almost did this until I realized this good thing has been brought to me. And just because I made mistakes in the past doesn't mean I need to push it off and say, no, I need to work on myself. Accept what's being given to you. And if you've ever apologized to someone and really meant it, that act is very freeing. We have this weight on our chest that literally just gets dropped. But you also might not be ready to apologize directly to that person's face. In that case, you could write a note and burn it. You could text them. You could even apologize to them under this video right now. All of those are going to be freeing, but the most freeing one is of course going to be a one-on-one conversation, but that can take a lot of guts, and that's okay. Unfortunately, the way our world appears to work is that people are brought into our lives, and you might love them to death, or you might not. But it seems that every person that you interact with on a deep level that you really get to know and love teaches you something. As selfish as it seems, no matter how bad you hurt them, you are learning a lesson from this, and they are learning a lesson from it too. I used to feel so horrible hurting people I cared about, even though I had to at the time. I was like, why do I have to learn this lesson, this stupid lesson, by hurting this person? It didn't seem fair at all, and you might think that it's not fair, but that is the one way around it, that they actually probably grew more than you did because you are hurting them. That's of course if it's unintentional. You learn the most through pain and hardship. You might actually be doing them a favor. You've punished yourself for long enough, and it's time to move on. Comment grass if you've made it this far into the video. I really appreciate you. Leave a comment with your experience. Subscribe, check out the music. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Goodbye.